We have just 2 more weeks remaining in the college football season this year, so I feel like it's only right I gotta give you guys my projected playoff picture after week 12. Now look, this is very likely going to change over the next couple of weeks. There's still so much football to be played. Every single one of these teams could technically be knocked out if it goes that horribly for them. Maybe besides like Indiana. Anyways though, we're going to start it off right here with my number 1 team in the country. The team I think is going to end number 1 at the end of the year. It's going to be Ohio State. They've been the number 1 team in the country ever since week 2. I think that they beat Rutgers this week. I think that they also beat Michigan in a close game. Even if they do lose to Michigan, they still will likely get the bye in the playoff because they will still be 11-1. My number 2 team in the country is currently Indiana. I think that right now they are the only team that has completely secured 100% a playoff spot. They end their season on the road against Purdue. I think that they completely win that game. Even if they lose, they will still definitely be in the playoff. My number 3 team in the country is Georgia. I do have them over Texas A&M. I think that they have a better resume than Texas A&M this year. They played a lot harder opponents, and they have got some fantastic wins. Their only loss this year is at home by 3 points to Alabama. Alabama is one of the top teams in the country as well. They end the season at home against the 1-9 Charlotte team. I think they'll probably win by 50. And then they go to Georgia Tech, who you guys will see later down the line in this video. They currently are 9-1. I think they end the year 11-1. I think they beat Georgia Tech. I think that's a close game. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Number 4, I got Texas A&M. They've got a few really, really good wins. Obviously, I want to say keeping their season afloat with that comeback against South Carolina. That was definitely an amazing win, but they got some great wins this year. They don't have the hardest SEC schedule of all teams, but they got a couple really solid wins. They beat Notre Dame on the road. That's not an SEC game. They end the season, though, at home against Stanford. That will be a win. They go to Texas. Obviously, Texas in that game could be trying to play to keep their season alive. We will see what happens with Texas. I will say now, I don't have them making the playoff. I think that Texas A&M will win this game. I just don't trust Arch. I don't think this Texas team is all that good. I guess you could say wild card. I don't know. My first team out, though, is Ole Miss. I think that they will end the year 11-1. I think that they beat Mississippi State. Their only loss this entire year is on the road against Georgia in a back-and-forth game. They are easily one of the best teams in college football. I even think that there's a world where they get a bye. My number 6 team is Texas Tech. Texas Tech goes on the road to play West Virginia. They are my number 6 team in the country. I definitely think that they have like a 99% chance to make it, similar to Texas A&M, Ole Miss. The only loss of their season has been on the road against a very solid Arizona State team. But they got some really good wins. They smoked BYU. That's an amazing win at home. Also, not to mention, they have one of the most elite defenses in college football. My number 7 team in the country is Oregon. They've been getting a lot of hate recently. Their only loss of the season is at home by 10 points to the number 2 team in the country in Indiana. They definitely do not have the easiest end of their season, though. They host USC. USC's been a very solid team from start to finish this year. Definitely a team still competing for a playoff spot, as I believe they come into that game at 8-2, maybe 9-2. If Oregon loses that game, though, they will not be out. And then their final game is at Washington. Washington's been a very bumpy team all year. They've got a good resume. They've been a good team. I definitely think, though, that Oregon has got a tough road to get in. Obviously, they are 9-1 currently. I do think they are 100% in, no question, and they are one of the best teams in college football. But I don't think it's going to be easy for them to end the season at home against USC and then at Washington. There's a good chance they lose one of those games. Overall, though, they're a very dominant team. They've shown that they are definitely one of the best teams in college football all season long. I think they win both of their final games to get the 7th seed. Notre Dame is my number 8 team. They do obviously have the 2 losses, their first 2 games of the season. At Miami, that game came down to 1 possession, and then they also lost their other game at home to Texas A&M, who's my number 4 team in the country, by a few points at the very end. They end the season at home against Syracuse, at Stanford. Those are 100% going to be 2 wins unless they have some sort of colossal choke. But they've been on fire, though. They've won the last 8. They just dominated Pitt. They've got some very good wins. There is no question that they should be in the playoff. They are my number 8 team. I still think that they've got one of the best rosters in college football. My number 9 team is Oklahoma. There's a point in this season where they were absolutely dead in the water, but they have completely rebounded. Their 2 losses this year is at home against Ole Miss, who I got as my number 5 team in the country, and then they also lost in the neutral game against Texas. That was just an overall really bad game. John Mateer's first game back from injury. They got a lot of very good wins, and they keep their season alive, in my opinion, on the road against Alabama. That is the major boost for me. They end the season with 2 games I think that they should definitely win against Missouri, who's been a solid team all year long. Top 35 team in college football. I'll say that. And then they also end the final game of their season at home against LSU. With that being said, though, if they win the next 2 games, they will 100% be in. My number 10 team is Alabama. They definitely take a small hit after losing to Oklahoma. That was only their second loss of the season. Their first one coming against Florida State, who had a very, very good start of the season, being 3-0. Then they lost to Virginia, one of the best field storms ever. And then they also lost to Miami. They've been just running downhill ever since. They've been toppling down, whatever words you want to say. But I definitely do think that they are currently in the playoff. And if they can win their final 2 games, then they will be a lock. They host Eastern Illinois and they go to Auburn. Auburn, though, has a chance to do the funniest thing and spoil their playoff hopes. My number 11 team in the country is going to be Georgia Tech. One ACC team has to get in for sure. For me, it was really between Miami, Georgia Tech, and Pitt. But that loss that Pitt took to Notre Dame really does sell me. I know it's not a conference loss. I know that they can still get into the ACC championship, and winning the ACC championship should be an automatic bid into the playoff. But still, that was a horrible loss. Virginia does control their own destiny into the college football playoff. I think they will get into the championship. I don't think it will be Miami. And then ultimately from there, I think Miami will win out, but ultimately from there, Georgia Tech will beat Pitt this weekend, a big ranked win for them. I don't think that they will beat Georgia. I think Georgia will beat them in a close game on Friday the 28th, but that's not an ACC game, so it realistically does not matter. And then the G5 school that I believe will get in is North Texas. You can make the argument for Tulane. You can make the argument for JMU. I think that North Texas has the better resume, though. Their only loss is a blowout loss to South Florida, who's been one of the best G5 teams all year, even though they've lost 3 games. They just have some amazing wins, but I think that they'll beat Rice. I think they'll beat Temple. There will guaranteed, though, be a conversation, whether it should be JMU or Tulane, but I think that North Texas has the best resume. I think they get in. All right, so there you have it. Those are my 12 teams getting into the playoff. I am sure that this will change over the next 2 weeks, so stay tuned for more content, more game recaps, because that is definitely coming as we narrow down on the final 2 weeks of the college football season. Also, championship games, conference championships are going to be huge this time of the year. This is going to be one of the biggest ones as we are in the second year of the 12-team college football playoff. Stay tuned though for more content, and peace.